Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and the Scouting for Manchester United series, where today I have a bit of a bonus video for you guys. I was talking about Daniel Gore this morning, but the Pavard news is progressing since I recorded that video, which was uploaded this morning, and a lot of you guys are asking for a video on Pavard, so I think we need to talk about him. I think it is the right thing to do, because he is being touted as one of Erik ten Hag's first choices for this kind of role in the squad, replacing Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, of course, off to West Ham. Pavard is being touted as one of the players to come into that position. So today I want to talk about his strengths, his weaknesses, and what he would bring to the team. But first things first, we need to figure out what even is the position that would suit him the most, because this is an incredibly versatile player. We can see that in his numbers here. 146 games at right back in his career, 109 games as a centre back, whether that be in a back four or in a back three. He's even played left back, he's played midfield. This is a very, very versatile player. So we need to figure out what his best position is and where United would be best off using him, because it's quite clear he's a very, very good player. In my opinion, quite an underrated player, but we can see from his FBref report here, the 99th percentile for things like passes attempted, progressive passes, the 97th percentile, for example, for shot creating actions, the 94th percentile for tackles. This is a very well-rounded player, good at doing a lot of different things, which makes him ideal for a couple of different positions. So, if I grab the tactics board here, let's kind of talk about what he's good at, what he's bad at, where I think he fits in. So, Benjamin Pavard, what is he good at? What is he good at as a footballer? Well, for me, the best side of his game is the technical side of his game. So for now, we'll put him in a centre-back position. I watched him play against Manchester City in pre-season the other week. We know that Manchester City are a good pressing side, often in a 4-2-4 shape. Pavard played centre-back in that game and looked by far the most comfortable defender playing out from the back. Now, he's not press resistant in the way in which someone like Jurrien Timber is in defence, where he's going to regularly dribble past opposition forwards in situations like this. However, he is very confident on the ball in these areas, very technically secure, can play out from the back with really minimum fuss. He does it very well. From there, he's then a very good passer, whether that be safe passing to his side, slightly more direct passing, although that isn't necessarily a major strength of his, but particularly progressive passing, he is very, very, very good. He's also a pretty decent ball carrier, just kind of striding forward with the ball into the midfield, whether that be from right back, carrying the ball forward down the line, or stepping into the midfield. Pavard is a very good ball carrier. And on the ball, those are his real strengths. It's his technical security on the ball, it's his passing, but also his ability to carry the ball out of defence. In terms of from a defensive point of view, he's a very good 1 versus 1 defender. In the past 365 days, he was tackling in a 1 versus 1 situation up against a dribbler. He was winning the tackle 70% of the time, which is incredibly good. Those are very, very good numbers, and he is overall a good 1 versus 1 defender. He's also pretty decent in the air, depending on what position you play him in. He has clear strengths as a footballer, and that is why Manchester United are interested in him. But what I still need to figure out is what his best position would be, because at the moment it looks like he would come in as a centre-back. So let's look at the strengths and the benefits of that first of all. What is the benefit of having Pavard in your defence at centre-back? Well, in terms of Manchester United's current structure, it actually makes quite a lot of sense in terms of in possession, because he's very comfortable playing the ball out from the back, as we've discussed already. He would be more than happy to receive the ball in these situations, either carry the ball forward out of defence, or pass the ball on to someone else, something he would be very, very good at. As United moved kind of further up the pitch, he would be a very good cycle point in possession. He is a high volume player, someone who, playing for Bayern, one of the best teams in the world, but certainly the best team in Germany. He's used to having a lot of touches of the ball, so he would be a very good cycle point for the team. Let's say United want to build up in a 2-3 shape, for example. He is someone where you could go back to him and then he's going to move the ball on to the next person. His progressive passing would also be very, very useful from this area, and this is where he would be a big upgrade on Raphael Varane, moving the ball forward through the lines for United, allowing them to quickly get the ball forward. He could also kind of step forward. So let's say United are building possession down the left-hand side, drawing the opposition over like this. If you then go across to someone like Pavard, he's more than capable of then kind of taking advantage of this space, stepping into the pitch, something Raphael Varane was doing pretty well last season. Benjamin Pavard does it even better. So in terms of in possession, it does make a lot of sense for him to play as the centre-back for Manchester United. Ten Hag wants ball-playing players. Pavard is that. Without doubt he is that. However, I do have question marks from a defensive point of view. The big question mark for me as a centre-back in this team is his concentration. He really does have a habit for switching off in the biggest moments and costing his team goals. I also don't think physically, despite being about 6'1", he's not the most dominant defender in the world. He's not a powerhouse of a centre-back. His box defence isn't up to scratch, again, in terms of some of that is concentration, some of that is awareness. He just isn't as good as he needs to be in box defence, particularly with Lisandro Martinez being obviously quite short. I don't think Pavard is dominant enough as a centre-back. His aerial ability, whilst it is half decent, pairing him with Lisandro Martinez would be a little bit of a risk, because I don't think he is good enough to make up for Martinez's deficiencies. So I don't think the balance would be there. I don't like his box defence. Is he a real leader in this area? Not particularly. So in terms of on the ball, I really like Pavard as a centre-back. I completely see what he brings to a team, and I think it would be really very good. But I would be worried about the defensive side of the game. He is error-prone. His box defence isn't the best. He's not the most physically dominant defender you're ever going to see. I do have my concerns. For those reasons, I would not like to see Pavard come into this team and play as centre-back for Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. However, that does not mean that United should not pursue a transfer, because there is still the potential for him to come and play as a right-back. And this, I think, gets a lot of his strengths in play. So, what are those strengths and how does it fit the right-back position? Well, of course, first of all, we've got press resistance. Someone who is very, very comfortable receiving the ball in these areas. Again, if we put United in their new kind of goal kick structure, which we've been seeing, which looks something like this, Pavard would be more than comfortable receiving the ball in these wider positions. Certainly more comfortable than what someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. Having received the ball, he will be very technically secure, good control, and from there, good passing. Again, better than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Whether that be short passing inside the pitch, keeping it quite simple, or progressive passes, Pavard would bring a lot to the team from this side of the pitch. So in terms of the first phase playing out from the back, you are adding in a more technical, a more press-resistant player than what someone like Wan-Bissaka is, and even more than what Dalot is in my opinion. He also offers something in the middle phase as you step forward as well, especially if you use him as a sort of reserved right-back if you like. Almost in the Ben White role which he was playing for Arsenal last season, where United could suddenly now, in this system, have Pavard tuck in from right back and build possession like this. This would be a really good move in my opinion. It takes away a lot of the kind of progressive and on-the-ball responsibilities of Rafael Varane, allowing him to play as the middle centre-back. Then Lisandro Martinez and Pavard can be the progressors, much more expressive on the ball, whether that be passing the ball forward or carrying the ball forward. Suddenly, I think you would get a lot from Pavard playing as a right-back role but tucking in. Now, this is definitely the role which would suit him more, tucking in rather than pushing forward. Because in terms of pushing forward, not particularly creative. He's not very good in the final third. Everyone kind of pictures that brilliant goal in the World Cup against Argentina. No, that isn't what you get from Pavard, certainly not on a regular basis. He isn't really much of a final third threat in my opinion. However, as this reserved right-back role, I think it works. On the ball, once again, he brings a lot of pluses. He brings technical security, he brings press resistance, he brings progressive ability with his passing, with his ball carrying. He is used to playing in sides which dominate the ball, and he's probably someone who would help United at times slow the play down and keep it ticking over, which I think they need to do. I also think this position suits him from a defensive point of view. As we've seen already, he's a very good 1-versus-1 defender. Like I said, when he is attempting to tackle dribblers, he is successful 70% of the time, which is very, very impressive. Also, being, someone who switches off at times, you don't get as punished for that at right back as what you would in the middle of the box. There would also be less emphasis on his box defence. You would still have Rafael Varane helping Lisandro Martinez in that area. You've still got Casemiro dropping in. There is less responsibility on Pavard. Also, his aerial ability becomes more useful as a right back. When we compare him to centre-backs, he ranks around the 60th percentile. When you compare him to right-backs in the past year, it's much closer to the 90th percentile, and in fact, even higher than that, which would be quite useful. Let's say United are kind of facing crosses from this area, competing with wingers at the far post rather than strikers in the middle would really suit Pavard. And again, he would be an upgrade in that area, which would help Manchester United. Now, my concern in terms of a right-back role would be lack of raw pace, which it leaves in this Manchester United team. We know that Luke Shaw is pretty quick, although, again, he's not absolutely rapid. But Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, Pavard, it isn't the quickest defensive structure you'll ever see in the world, so it would still leave some concerns in terms of defensive transition. However, I have to say, I like Pavard in this position. I really think he brings a lot to the team and would be a better option than Diogo Dalot, than Wan-Bissaka, but also it still gives United time and space, if you like, in the team next summer to maybe really go big for an actual true centre-back position to eventually replace Rafael Varane. Perhaps someone like Antonio Silva, Ousmane Diamond, whoever it may be. So I do like the idea behind Pavard in that way. Of course, like we've said already, importantly, he brings versatility, which Ten Hag does want. So perhaps he could be a right back, but then Rafael Varane gets injured, we'll bring Pavard into centre back for a few games. That could definitely work. That could definitely work for this side. So that's kind of where I'm at on Pavard. If we see more on a move, I will probably break it down more in depth and really try and figure out what the plan is here. But my stance on it is, if he is coming in to play centre back as a starter or as a backup, I don't really like it. On the ball, he would bring a lot to the team, but defensively, a little bit too frail, a little bit too error-prone, concentration not quite there, not the leader which United need in their defence. Right back, however, it works a lot more. He brings a lot on the ball, but also it suits him more from a defensive point of view. So, you asked for my thoughts on Pavard at the moment. Those are my thoughts on Pavard. Now I want to hear yours. Get in the comments down below and let me know what you're thinking of the whole situation. Apart from that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this bonus little video, and I'll see you in the next one.